I'm back with another video, and in today's video we have an HP Pavilion laptop. This one is a HP Pavilion. The model name for this one is a 14-N229, or the model number, product number will be F4G97. Those information can be found on the bottom of your laptop. On the bottom sticker, it will tell you model 14-N229 or product number, which will be F4G97. And in this video, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you guys how to take it apart and how to clean up, repaste, and do your own service job for this laptop. If it's really dirty, if it's overheating, and you want to just clean it up simply, this video is for you. And it's not too hard and it's not too complicated. So the tools that you're going to be needing, and all the tools that I'll be using on this video, I'll leave the link in my video description. You can check those links. For the screwdriver set, I'm using an UFIXTEK screwdriver set kit. We're going to be using a Phillips number 1. I love these bits. They are made out of the S2 class steel. That means they're really toughened. You can get the pro version of this one, which would include you with an opening tools, tweezers, and many other stuff that you will need. And I'll need a curved tweezers. And if you don't get a pro version, get yourself a guitar pick. Metallic guitar pick are really suitable to opening the covers, plastic cases, and they're really tough to bend. Soft edges make it really tough for scratching plastic. Alright, with all those set, you will need an alcohol, isopropylic or isopropylic alcohol 95% plus. These are not conductive. You will need a workshop towel. You need at least one sheet of workshop towel. You will need your favorite thermal paste. I'll be using an Arctic MX4. If you want to go over the board and overkill, go with the Cryonaut Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut. Or you can simply go a little bit lower with an Arctic Silver 5. But I'm going to be using Arctic MX4. Alright, with all those aside, now we're going to start removing stuff. First, we're going to remove the battery by removing the triggers. This should be very easy for everybody. Unlock position, and pull out the battery. We're going to remove the cover for the RAM and Wi-Fi cover just by loosening up the screws. The screws do have a C-lock on them, so they will not entirely come out, so you just have to loosen them up. And if it's really tough, just open it in the middle between these and just help it out to release this cover. And from this side upward. And down here, we're gonna first remove the Wi-Fi board. There's one screw holding it, so go ahead and remove this Wi-Fi board. It has a tiny screw. Lift up this tape, which is right over. Now we're gonna disconnect. You can disconnect the cable, just pull them up. Lift up the Wi-Fi, comes up in 45 degrees and slide it out. Now there's 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4 screws down here. We need to remove these 4 screws. And 2 more hidden screws, one right in here, has a little adhesive tape on these rubbers. On this side too. So we're going to remove all the screws that we see down here, including the 4 on here and the one in the middle. Go ahead and remove all the screws. Also, I realized that there's only 1% of you guys that are subscribed to my channel. If you guys find my content useful and helping you guys out and you want to support the channel, you can do it by clicking that like button and think about subscribing. It really helps and motivates me to make more videos and take requests and answer your questions. I'll really appreciate it. If you don't know which screw goes where, if you have a hard time to know the long screw and the short screw, you can make a schematic or take a picture or print or just juggle it down on a piece of paper that you know the short screws goes where, the long screws goes where, so you can identify it. So I don't have to go through each screw to tell you which one where it goes, what size are there ones. So you can just pretty much draw on a piece of paper the screws and make a little tiny boxes and put each one of the screws on those boxes. That's the easier way for those that don't remember where the screws goes. Once you remove the bottom side screws, we're not gonna pull on this face plate on the DVD drive, otherwise we're gonna damage it. We have a higher chance of damaging by pulling this because sometimes the drive is kind of stuck to the body. So even if we remove the screw, we don't want to pull this. I'm going to show you the proper way of removing this. So we're going to open up the screen and we're going to remove the keyboard from here. So by removing it, just put it on the top of the keyboard, the opening tool, and just flip it to open it, just pretty much doing this. And once you got it from the middle, pull up. You're going to hear both side triggers. Bring it up, flip it upside down. You want to remove this cover here 90 degrees upward. Sometimes it's really hard. Slide the flex cable down. Now we're going to grab the tweezer. We're going to remove the flex cable for power on. Unlock, slide out. Unlock, slide out. Now this is the keyboard, the DVD drive. I can see it right here. So now that we remove the screw on the other side, I'm going to grab it from here. I'm going to push it towards that side and you're going to see the DVD drive just coming out from here. Now it's easier for me to just grab it and slide it out. So that way I don't damage the faceplate. Once you remove the DVD drive, you're going to see two hidden screws right under the drive. You're going to remove this one. These are really short screws. You can put them in a different pile. Do not mix I don't want to mix the bottom batch of the screws, the bottom case ones with the top case ones. So I'll keep them in different piles. And remove the chrome screws, 1, 2, 3 screws. Alright, once we remove the 3 screws in here, now we're going to remove the palm rest by sticking the opening tool between the top and the bottom cover here and just twisting. And we're going to do all the way in the front end, to the side. And once you do the front and the side, go to the back corner, lift up the back corner, and now you want to wiggle it around a little bit and you want to lift it up 90 degrees upward. You don't want to just open it up. You want to pull it up. This is the palm rest. You can go ahead and clean up the mesh for the fan right here that breathes through the keyboard. You can use an old toothbrush if you wish. Now, I made a video on how to upgrade the hard drive to an SSD drive. You can check those videos if you wish. We're gonna remove, we don't have to, but I'm gonna remove it anyway, the audio jack and the USB drive in here by removing one screw. Unhook this flex cable. This one you have to remove it. And now we're gonna lift up this card from here upward, and the card comes up. We're gonna remove the hard drive by pulling this side up, and we are gonna disconnect the adapter from the drive. Now we're gonna remove the motherboard, but before we do that, we're gonna disconnect the speaker cable. I don't like yanking on these cables backwards. Sometimes it can rip them apart. So what you want to do, you want to stick your tweezers between the jack and then slide them back. Just move it around a little bit. And it will come out. Once you did that, on the LCD cable, you want to grab this plastic handle right here and pull it up 90 degrees. Hold the motherboard with your hand. Sometimes it's really hard, so it comes really stuck in there. So even doesn't matter how hard I pull on this one, it's not coming out. So to help it out, grab some plastic spatula. So let me see what I have here. I'm gonna grab any plastic spatula. I'm gonna stick it under the jack and I'm gonna help it out to pop it open one side, and then it should come out pretty easy. This handle is there to pull it out, but if yours hold it and you pulling it up, it's not working, help it out to just jack it up a little bit from one side upward, it will come out. Now the power jack here, this is the webcam. Again, don't pull on the cable. This one you just want to slide down the jack back and remove this one. Now we're gonna remove the motherboard by removing one screw right by the battery connector and one in the corner all the way here. And that should be all, I hope. So we're gonna go ahead and grab it from this side and bring it up. And I see something holding on it. So just bring it up slowly, gently. And while you bring it up, just pull it towards this side so you can release this HDMI cable. Bring it up this way. Now, you can either keep it on this side and unhook the jack for the power jack from the back here, or you can just put it to one side and remove the power jack bracket, so you can remove the power jack. So remove the screw that holds the bracket in there and lift up this bracket, and now you can actually slide out the, has a little hinge on it, so just bring it up. There we go. There's a two tiny hinges in here, the clips that they hold it in place, so you just have to push away the clips on both sides and it will come out. Now we can lift up the motherboard. This is the bottom chassis. You can go ahead and clean it up if you wish with a towel, with a toothbrush, clean the mesh, everything is kind of dirty. And there we have the motherboard. Now we're gonna put a workshop towel on the top so we can work on this one. Here we don't need to disconnect anything else. There's a CPU and GPU. Each one has its own independent heat pipe, which is good. I don't like that the airflow, it doesn't have any cover on top. There should be a cover here to direct the air going through here, not like the way it is right now, but let's not touch that. So first we're gonna remove the fan by removing 2 screws. So remove that screw, remove this screw, and the fan should be able to lift up and pull up this cable for the jack, so you can remove the jack. There's your fan. Go ahead, grab a toothbrush and clean it up. Now to remove the heatsink, we all need to do is to remove the 4 screws on the CPU. They have a C-lock on them, so you just have to loosen them up. And the 3 screws for the GPU. Once you loosen them up, and now you can just go loose that up, peel that up, and lift up the heatsink. So that's it. If you want to replace your BIOS battery, go ahead to do it now. So this one is a CR2032, so change that one. It's really cheap. That's a wash battery that will keep your BIOS alive. Now we're gonna clean up with another sheet of shop towel, the CPU and GPU, and we're gonna spray the alcohol. And we're gonna just rub over the CPU a little bit. And there we go. These extras, you can just dump it. Clean up the GPU. All you need to do is clean up the die. You don't need to go crazy cleaning around it, inside out. As long as you clean the die, you're fine. You don't need to go crazy. Once you clean that up, we're gonna clean up the heatsink. Just grab the excess of this paste, just wipe it over. Once you clean up this side and that side, you don't want to touch the die. You don't want to leave your grease from your fingers, anything over. So just do a nice clean pass. And grab your thermal paste, do a nice line on the CPU die, and tiny drop on the secondary die. On a GPU, put a tiny drop. Now you can just blow some compressed air through here to fans, use toothbrush, clean it up. And you want to bring it over, align the screw holes, and place it down. Once you put it down, do not lift it up. The screws are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. Or you can just do, as long as you cross screw them, you're fine. You don't have to follow the numbers. You can just cross screw these ones, and then you're just fine. So cross screw these ones, cross screw the other one, grab the fan, bring it over, align it, put the 2 screws for the fan, plug in the fan cable. Is very important. Most people always forget it. So plug in the fan cable. Now we're gonna open up the laptop, and we are gonna place in the first the power jack. Move the cables out of the way in there and just snap it in place. Place the I/O side down first. Make sure the speaker cable stays over. Everything right on top, and bring it down. You can slide the speaker cable first straight inside the jack. There we go. Put the webcam cable, jack, whatever you want to call it, inside the connector. Just bring this straight from the back and plug it in there. There we go. The LCD cable, you want to bring it straight on top and push it down. Make sure it squeezes right in there, straight. Grab the bracket for the power jack, align it on top. Make sure nicely aligned. Put the tiny 1 screw for this one. All right, grab the hard drive, bring it, and slide down the front end underneath, and slide it all the way down towards the board, toward the bottom case. Grab the USB, extra USB and audio port, and just align the heads down and then squeeze it in there. Put the screw that holds the board on the bottom case. The bridge cable is slided right underneath. Lock it down. Double check cables, connectors. Put the 2 screws for the motherboard, one on this corner, and the other one is just right by the battery connector. Now you want to grab the palm rest, bring it 90 degrees straight on top, and then just let it go down and squeeze the top and the bottom cover. Make sure those clicks on the back side here. Squeeze it down, squeeze, and that's it. Put 2 hidden screws that goes right under the DVD drive right there, the 2 hidden ones. Next step would be putting up the 3 chrome screws. And after that, you're gonna grab the flex cable for the trackpad, open up the lock, slide it right underneath. Gently, take your time and lock it down. The power on switch cable, bring it on, slide it right underneath. And the last thing down here will be grabbing the keyboard, bring it over, slide it under the jack, and lock it down. Flip it over, put the bottom end of the keyboard all the way inside the palm rest, curve it down, hold it from the middle, and again hold it from the middle, do the other side, and press the top part down all the way. Make sure you hit those clicks. All right, now you're gonna close the lid, you're gonna flip it upside down, We're gonna grab the DVD drive, which I don't know what I put here. We're gonna slide down the DVD drive right in there. Now we are gonna flip it upside down like this. We're gonna put the Wi-Fi connectors first. And just align it right over the jack and just push them that push down. And then slide it right 90 degrees toward the connector. Push it down inside. And then towards the board. And you need to put the tiny screw that holds it in place. And put the tape over if you want. And make sure the cable is run nicely between the crack right there. Otherwise the top cover is not going to go down nicely. So there's a little gap there, so you have to squeeze it right in there. And the last thing down here is to put down the 4 screws under here and the rest of the screw on top. Put the tiny black covers on by the battery side. And that's how you clean up, service up your HP Pavilion 14-N229 model. If you guys have any question or requests, you know what to do. Leave them in a video comment. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. If this video helped you guys out, you know what to do. Click that thumbs up button. I'll really appreciate it. Just gonna finish up putting up all the screws and we should be set to go. And this cover, you want to put the back end down gently and then squeeze the sides down and the middle, and then just tighten up the screws. The battery, just push it in there. And that's it.